Are you ready, debunkers?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can't hear you.
Aye, aye, Captain!
Oh, how I love SpongeBob. Created by the late Steven Hillenburg, SpongeBob SquarePants have been gracing our TV screens for 25 years now. And to help celebrate, I decided to debunk 3 theories from Mustard Pregnancy, a SpongeBob theory specialist here on YouTube, and judging by this picture I have on screen right now, is also possibly an analog horror monster. So without any further ado, let's dive right into this.
In Season 2, Episode 15, Band Geeks, a scene unfolds that has left fans, well, a bit stirred up. Motivated to prove Squilliam wrong and not be humiliated, Squidward forms a band with the residents of the Bikini Bottom. Just as you'd expect, we see instruments of all shapes and sizes. Yet, amidst this cacophony of sounds and sights, Patrick takes center stage with his iconic and befuddling inquiry.
Is mayonnaise
No. Let's take a moment. Peel back the layers of humor. And what do you find? A profound philosophical question that epitomizes the enigmatic enigma that is Patrick Star.
So basically, this theory is really suggesting that Patrick is a secret genius the whole time, going as far as twisting classic scenes of his stupidity into acts of secret genius. And look, on some level, I get it. The ways we choose to measure intelligence as a whole can sometimes be very narrow-minded. Keyword being sometimes. So it's important to remember that Patrick is a joke character who is meant to muck up the plot when necessary. And in order to muck up the plot, he kinda needs to be stupid.
And who knows? Maybe the next great symphony awaits in a jar of mayo sitting in your fridge.
Horseradish is not an instrument either.
Man Ray is possibly the biggest threat to Bikini Bottom, but didn't he decide at one point he was gonna change his ways? First of all, shut up. And second of all, I figured out the reason why Man Ray is still evil. I've rewatched dozens of episodes, and again, I'm like 74% sure my theory cannot be debunked.
Oh, okay, my dude. If you want to be on the show sooner, you could have just asked.
Now, Man Ray, realizing he's stuck wearing this belt, pretends he wants to learn how to be good. SpongeBob and Patrick, bless their hearts, decide to teach him. Man Ray steals a power glove and snaps them. He runs off to rob a bank, but then something happens. He still feels the tickle. He even returns SpongeBob and Patrick to say goodbye, admitting that the lessons changed him.
Well, it's more accurate to say the tickle belt chased him, but why split hairs? But if you want to know what the real theory is here, it basically revolves around the episode Back to the Past, where after disrupting the natural flow of time, SpongeBob and Patrick try vigorously to prevent a Man Ray-led future. And these time travel shenanigans are the reason Man Ray is evil again. But here's the thing, there's one later episode that should also be taken into account. In Shuffleboarding, we see Man Ray not up to his dastardly tricks, but being friendly at a laundromat. Even when SpongeBob and Patrick showed up dressed as Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, long story, he acts friendly to them like they're not even enemies anymore. And it's only at the end of the episode that he becomes vengeful again along with the rest of the town. This really doesn't seem like one of the instances where Man Ray is still evil. So while this theory is well thought out, I think the Doylist explanation is more likely. The writers just really liked the character and made the tickle belt a staple of his design. And now let's turn our attention to the final theory of the video.
What is SpongeBob's age? I mean, like, everyone treats him like he's a kid, but doesn't bro need to be at least 18 to work at the Krusty Krab?
Yes, SpongeBob's age has been the subject of much scholarly debate, hasn't it?
First, we obviously need to figure out when was he born. Drifts off. He starts having this wild dream where he's in a world of burgers and spatulas that quickly turn into a chaotic driving scene where SpongeBob can be seen driving like a maniac. But now, if we pause the video and look closely, we can clearly read the driver's license, and the date of birth reads July 14th, 1986. Here's the thing. A lot of people don't actually believe that this is even true because it was all a dream. Ever, Mrs. Puff offers SpongeBob an extra credit exam, a single 10-word essay on what he learned in boarding school. Mrs. Puff passes him and presents him with a license with the same date of birth as the one in his dream.
Wait a minute.
Did they just reuse the same drawing for the license? How do they expect us to trust reused assets? Actually, while we're on the subject of Mrs. Puff's boating school, apparently Nickelodeon wanted SpongeBob to attend actual school like Timmy Turner or Hey Arnold. But because the idea of SpongeBob being a kid in school went against Hillenburg's original vision for the show, Mrs. Puff's boating school and Mrs. Puff herself were created as some kind of compromise. So we at least know SpongeBob should be old enough to be out of college.
Okay, so now that we have his date of birth, we need to figure out one last thing. What timeline does SpongeBob SpongeBob living? Hear me out. In the episode SB129, Squidward is looking forward to a quiet Sunday morning to practice his clarinet. But just as he's about to play, SpongeBob's alarm goes off. He hides in the freezer to get away from them and ends up getting locked inside. Then we fast forward 2,000 years.
2,000 years later.
Right now, we can see a calendar that states that today's date is March 6th, 4017. That means my boy SpongeBob is 31 years old.
Well, maybe at the start of the show, but we have been shown that there is a natural passage of time. In the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, which is meant to take place at the end of the timeline, he brags about being employed among 374 consecutive times. That's a little over 31 years. 31 years? Dear Neptune, no wonder this show's never gonna end. So seeing as this episode was made during the show's quote-unquote golden years, then I think it's safe to say that SpongeBob should end up being much older than that. And Pearl's probably gonna be in high school forever. But there you have it, 3 SpongeBob debunks. As always, thank you for watching, like and subscribe below, and let me know what your favorite SpongeBob moment is in the comments section. Theory debunked.